Friends, very good afternoon to all. We have discussed thoroughly information security of various classes, and we can go further understanding one to another what are all other parameter measuring items which are available in each category. We can come across easily, understanding one and the other way. Proceed further. Suppose you mention multiple number of user errors, multiple number of way of human errors. Failure automatically makes an accident, and also different levels of mistakes also which are properly inadequate and extensive for the security function. If that is a case, what are all the things? See, if a human error, especially human error, a user who is there involved in the organization or the management or the entrepreneurs, then a chances of error or a failure, in what are all the ways you can choose? Includes acts performed without malicious intent. Generally, what will happen if a nasty wickedness, hateful flow of an information, spiteful information, which are going to be determined, committed, result, which are also various other acts of a human being. Correct? Now, you can say any user, they are in a position to perform a nasty or a wicked or a hateful or a spiteful, whatever you can call. We say that one without malicious intent, which causes once again a failureness, which causes once again a number of mistakes, which comprises inexperience. Suppose a user X is an inexperienced personality in order to handle the job Y. Similarly, take an way of a person who is inexperienced, no practical knowledge about, then you can say inexperienced, not in a position to handle properly, which are all both together like intellectual property as well as infrastructure property. Improper training. If any type of a training which are going to be take place in an organization with respect to the very essentially required for the developmental activities and the security aspects and whatever they relay based on a awareness program or a training program or a workshop program which are in the improper, those also give a chance because they are not in a continuity. We have understanding from the beginning to the end. Somewhere else a breakup, E or C also improper way of training. Gain whatever the knowledge acquired which are may not useful for the improvement or the performance aspects of the organization. Then incorrect assumptions. We say that one chances of raining, correct? No, used to be predict, depict ourselves only if we have no chances of raining today, and similarly you can go as usual, we can find out our way of an approach, correct? No, incorrect assumptions, so improper training or inexperience of a knowledge of a personality, and also these various other aspects which always intend a hateful or a wicked functionality, a chances are more errors one to another. And similarly, or it may be the working flow and the environment within the organization employees, they used to give complete among the greatest threats, especially a dangerous or assault or perils within the organization of the data. We can easily identify the level of overall involving the programming the procedural tasks and the which are going to be manageable. You can say within the organization you can identify team members, team having a multiple number of correct no technical personality. They also ask like have their own inexperience, knowledge, improper training capability, and they have their own willingness and the assumption which are make a greatest dangerous. Similarly, provide an extensive level of hazard and the perils to the organization with respect to a specific data. And still further, a continuation with he or she within the organization, the employee's mistakes can easily lead to. Suppose what are all the impact of if any employee not in a position to involve, not in a position to inclusive, not in a position to recommend his own idea, which may also chances of different way of mistakes. We can say revelation of classified data. If you make a classification of a exchange flow, which are not in a proper way, X having the classification based on his or her parameter. Similarly, Y a members who is having their own ideas. Similarly, Z is a team having their own idea, which revealing generally not a classification of actual data, figurative flow of a data. Entry of erroneous data. Even though we are in a position to rectify, in a position to predict a better solution for any problem, we are employees are ready to feed erroneous exchange flow at any moment of a position, then these are also chances of mistakes of the employees. Accidental data deletion or modification. A surprisingly make an entry, any sort of a data which are going to be removed and also altering and make an arrangement such a way that how the changes accidentally which are going to be effect on the existing data, these are also provide various mistakes from the employees who are all their insiders. Failure to protect information. The chances of mistakes usually, oh, X made a mistake, leave it, need not to tell anybody, which are going as usual. But system how can understand? Even though if any chances of mistakes, any chances of a negative reasons, which may at any position, which are going to be impact on the whole system of due to the erroneous, due to the failureness of the manpower within the organization. Many of these threats can be prevented with control. We have a chance to reduce and we can go with some sort of a controlling limitations you have to be applicable to one to another, top level, middle level and bottom level, who are all the classification of various level of employees, then we can easily control and no chances of a threat which are going to be happen to the whole system or within the organization. Still, we can say who is the bigger threat, who is the big dangerous or peril to any organization. Correct? No, you see that one, a simple diagrammic representation clearly shows what way we can employees accidentally or intentionally deleting one copy of critical report. We have a documentation stored in a particular folder, employee during your absence, during the person who is their CEO and who are the authority for this one position. No? Some other acts is coming and deleting without the knowledge of the person who is working there in that position. And these are also very, very erroneous, correct now. Convicted a burglar, correct now, chances of which are going to be most dangerous. And ultimately, you see that one hacker overall, you can say unprofessional. A person don't have a knowledge with respect to the whole system. Even though he is working in or she is working in within the organization, totally substandard level of their own activities. And incompetence, we can say unskilled personalities. And those are all Hayakara, various other way observation were all going to be unnecessary, making a problem of deleting a files, deleting very, very important convicted flow of an exchange within the organization, which makes a very, very big loss to any organization. You can say acts of a human error or a failure, a simple diagramical representation clearly they used to be observed with their own way, and finally with the absence of a particular person, manager or like whoever it may be within the organization, and they are creating unskillful manner, they're creating substandard level of a procedure and unprofessional way of a task. We can call it as a biggest danger and a peril to the organization. The compromises, how better way you can go to be compromised. If chances of threats are happening from the a manpower who is working very committed manner, then how to compromise to intellectual property. Intellectual property is one another way. You can say manpower. Ownership of ideas and the control over the tangible or a virtual representation of those ideas. Suppose we are working in particular and who are able to guide, make an advice, give a suggestion, not only the physical level, and EC may consider the way of involvement virtually also. How best way, correct? No. See, I used to say due to various other reasons, I am unable to come to the organization, then you have to fulfill the requirement. Those who are very highly professional, they can do even their ideas, give their own idea, representation of their ideas virtually, logically. The most common IP breaches, especially involve a software. See, generally, what we rupture or a cracks or a problems which are there from the common intellectual property involving a basic fundamentals of set of instruction packages privacy. How which are going to be predominantly ethically gives a positive correct no, approach or the improvement. Those are the most common breaches we can say one to another. The rupturing cracks, a small problem may involve, especially in case of set of instruction called a software privacy. And to standard, we can say if you go with the watchdog and organize, investigate how the abusing of a software comes to a standard. Software and Information Industry Association. Suppose if you are not in a position to satisfy this particular software after purchasing with a license oriented, then how best way you can just. There are various other standard association. One is called Software Information Industry Association. You can say SIIA. Association provide a complete breakthrough policy for all users in order to manage privacy, in order to manage a complete security. And who are all the authority? We can call it as SIIA, Software Information Industry Association. Similarly, BSA, Business Software Alliance, who are co-supporter for making various policy or the documentary in a perfect manner with respect to business. We can call them as Business Software Alliance. They are going to be as together, comes together with an effective goal reachable for any sort of a problem. Similarly, in the security also, the two important association. One is if you take any sort of a business, you can enroll or register, then you can follow the certain policy matter. They used to be take the responsibility. One is a software, SIIA, Software Information Industry Association. Another one is called Business Software Alliance. And similarly, enforcement of a copyright law has been attempted with the technical security mechanism. See, if you are going to be copy any flow of an information which are available in God internet, and there should be a security mechanism. You can make sure that one copyright, you can easily, you have to be justified. This is my authenticated documentation, authorization report, and nobody can just easily tamper, nobody can easily make you that one. And there should be a standard level of policy enforcement available. Copyright law has been attempted have their own technical privilege with respect to privacy, with respect to security, with respect to robustness, with respect to whatnot. Say the second thoughts are not my copywriting flow. It's my own way, correct? No, like that way. But association, once again, another we can say report or association usually we can find out have their own willingness with the proper documentation. Compromises to intellectual property if any sort of a chances of threats, danger or peril available from the manpower who are all working, and still we can easily compromise with respect to various other solutions. A deliberate acts of trespass. Generally, if how we can just make sure a protected information by unauthorized individuals. You used to be say a person is not identified for the purpose. Person is not ready. Possessiveness of the way in which way behaving. Even though the accessibility of a protected information by unauthorized personality, unauthorized user, unauthorized whoever it may be, and we can easily deliberate a different type of you can say that policy man. Computative intelligence legally and similarly industrial espionage, you can call it as illegally. The level of policy article number which are available for a intelligence and as well as a documentary with respect to industry one to another have their own properties and the characteristic feature. Then shoulder surfing can occur anywhere a person, correct? Now, if you see that one, who is available for making the complete execution accessibility, which are to be in a confidential flow of an exchange, which are going to be processed, then only can consider as a deliberate act with respect to a controlling options. Similarly, controls letter, which goes to be passed. No, they are encroachment. You say that one, those who are occupying and unnecessary, correct, no, troubling, and the property of whichever it may be available, you can say that one organization have their own level of evacuated space. We can say cyber space. We can understand what is meant by cyber, what is meant by cyberspace, what is meant by cyber security, what is meant by cyber law, meant by cyber, correct? Adaptability, all these things. Hackers, especially those who are giving a trouble to, correct? No, you can say hackers who are all going to be straightforward with their own level of intelligence, use skills, and they can fraud, bypass control, protecting most of the other information. They used to be safeguard. They used to be safeguard. They used to be five bond. They used to be headers most of the time, and how they are going to be safeguard themselves only before make a failure and before threatening to the other information available. You can say deliberate acts are activities how which are going to be controllable one to another. And next you see that one, if you are going to be a simple example of a case study, ourself and whoever it may be drawing a money, the second person who is atomic, correct? No, you can say that shoulder surfing takes many forms. Some may not be obvious, correct? We are not in a position to see who are all around in a different posture. Person who are very close and standing before you, we can easily identify the level of intention is entirely different. That type of a threatening option, that type of, especially the firing option, that type of a dangerous option, you can say shoulder surfing. We are doing correct now, just checking how the what level of the pin number automatically change and how best way you can see the balance information ATM device. By the time if anybody is very close and seeing that one, that is actually once again one sort of a threatening shoulder surfing. Deliberate acts, once again, further continuation, you can say expert attack hackers. They are very highly professional. They are highly skilled persons. Huh? They are very skilled, skilled persons and the master. No problem. No. Skilled persons, we have skilled person who are available and how that information flow through that one to another. You can understand very easily where you have to put. 1 minute, please. How we can just best way through that one available, understand the flow of an information. And we often to create an attack of various type of a set of instruction packages available. You can share with easily one to another how best way which are through and get through the information of the flow and understand very high level and get into the flow of an info. Deliberate art secretary part. Yeah. Okay. And then you can make sure yourself the availability of the information which are one to another. You can call it as expert hacker. Expert hacker available, and you can find out through one to another how best way which are through the possible information flow. And if you take into consideration a person is unskilled hacker, they have their own level of programming available, you can see one to another and you can understand reality. And many more unskilled level of hacking, then overall best way to provide an explanation information. You can say that one, they are also unskilled and undoubtful information flow. One to another. Please close the doors. Use expertly written set of instruction to exploit whole system of information. Do not usually fully understand which are lacunae. Hacking a system of flow information one to another deliberately acts like some of the way in which are going to be hacking or threatening flow one to another. And terms of the system were all the breakers. Even though crackers, so threateners, so unskilled persons, so and who are all there, correct? Now, substandards remove software protection designed to prevent unauthorized duplication. Even though we have a very good experience to see that one, how the license oriented and pirated level of the authorized license which are going to be duplicate, and you can make use a standard level of crackers key generation, and you can say how which are going to be manageable with the help of hacking, and especially which happened earlier through the public telephone network also. Now also without virus we can get through that one, understanding one to another. And many more types you can see. Deliberately acts of various other flow of an information for understanding one to another, and you can gain lot more unauthorized duplication, no password cracking. Go. You can say breaker hacks the public telephone network. A person is going to be listen your signal representation, correct? No? Way in which way communications are going to be take place. Those are also the chances. And similarly, ransomware software which are available, attackers who are all going to be steals, take flow of an information, encrypts information from computer system and demand compensation and return in a non-disclosure manner. We can say that one, how which are going to be provide some of the case studies which are there, Petya, now Petya, correct, not Petya, those are only a standard level of attacker who are all going to steal, encrypts the flow of an information from within the computer system, and then later the demands, correct. Now suppose they used to say how the blackmailing, especially you can take a simple example, blackmailing in such a way that here also they used to say these are the information we are not in a position to give, then you are going to be. That's why they used to demand for compensation, and they are in a position to disclose most of the information. This one is nothing but ransomware. And of course, you can find out what are the available authority attacks on the face of an organization, especially website to web pages to threats on the range of organize who are all there, correct. Now you can find out who are all the involvement of developmental activities, we can say sabotage, or we can say vandalism, we can call it as who are the responsible person involving to improvement of the performance. They also come across various type of attacking position. Website defacing can erode consumer confidence flow of an information, no dropping go sales to organization network to, and similarly threat of visiting. You can see that one, if any sort of a task which are going to be executable through the web law, you can find out a log table, then there used to be see that one at what time a person logged in, or at what time the way of the task which are executable, or online transaction, or offline transaction, and we can say that one active visit. Similarly, you can say cyber activities which are going to be how the flow through a website, and similar through we can call it as web crime also, various other type of an operation. Cyber terrorism much more stronger than what starts of a hacking in the whole system of a network, in the whole system of a computing paradigm, in which way they are going to be make a dangerous peril, we can call it as cyber terrorism. And of course there is a various type of forms are available. You can say they used to be post or the most of the information on website to please make an entry, these are the details, so then you can give your most detail. You can say how the cyber activities wanted to enhance the flow of an exchange of an organization. This is the way cyber activities wanted information. And similarly, if you deliberate acts of a theft, were all going to be unnecessary, easily. Get the property. Illegal tacking of another physical electronic flow or intellectual, any sort of the component which are going to be perform their own functionality for the system development to, for the system improvement to, performance to, and they are also going to be theft. Similarly, exchange flow of an electronic devices, so intellectual property, manpower, ideas. So physical theft is controlled relatively easily. Correct? Now we can easily find out. Suppose somebody is going to be take a cable which connected. Is it a system is available? Correct? Now we can easily find out and we can easily control. Correct? Now if you have some sort of a security, we can easily. Correct? Now and who is coming, who is not. Correct? Now where he is going, what sort of the contact through this particular physical device. So through this keyboard, you can easily identify with the authority, in which way can identify manually through the security like that. That means to say physical theft is controlled relatively easily, and we can not in a position to find out in which way the logical thefts which are going to be happening in any organization. Similarly, especially logically in the sense, electronic theft is more complex problem. See, once, see, myself is available. Anybody can find out my system IP. They can easily log in and you can easily see that one, what are all my person flow of an information, in which way the attitude and the characteristic feature properties of the system which are going to be collected, and even any sort. Correct? Now we can say these are much more complex. What way the physical theft is going to be controlled easily. Evidence of crime not readily apparent. That means to say which are very, very insignificant. We can say which are very, very insignificant and provide such a way that not in a position to clear out easily. Electronic theft is more complex problem. Evidence of crime not readily clear out. We can easily find out the solution, certain procedure which are available for easily identification electronic theft compared to physical theft. And what are all the set of instructions software attacks are available? Malware, generally you can call it as malicious software which are available, nasty or wicked or hateful spy. Correct? No, site which are not at all useful, ultimately which are going to be problem. That type of a software designed to damage. Basically, main goals of those things are designed to sustain, not durability, not providing any sort of improvement to the organization. Destroy, completely clear the flow. Similarly, deny of services to target the system, which are going to be, say, X is available and X1, X2, X3, and provide them not to full provision of making use the facility. There, like that way, a setup of that one, you can say any sort of nasty or wicked or hateful type of a software designed to damage, destroy, and completely clearly, which are going to be memorized. Correct? No, clear the whole set of information in a system itself. We can call it a malicious software, nothing but malware. Malicious software which are going to be ideally damage, destroy, and denial of services to the system, which includes thoroughly a set of instructions which are literally damage. Viruses, we can call it as a worm, we can call it as a Trojan horses, logic bombs, backdoors, and denial of service attacks. Many, many various other ways of, we can call it as this, how best way, physical attack, logical attack, system attack, and once again, how the deliberation of software attacks also possibility. And this one, Trojan horse attack. Suppose these are the things, still I will explain all the things. I'll just repeat you because time is going to be come for winding up. If any chances, I'll explain to you very thoroughly what are all the changes. See, a failure information of a manpower having the inexperienced personality, no proper training. Similarly, incorrect assumptions. You used to take with their own assumptions, say this system is going to be worked out, which are going to be validate, which are going to be verified correct. No? These are all some of the causes effectively treat like a failureness of the whole system. Similarly, overall, they're inside among the greatest threats also. These are the organization. Similarly, some of the mistakes